All right, so this is part one of, I hope, many little thing that I'm going to be doing called Faces of HVAC, where we're going to interview distributors, contractors, manufacturers, whatever it might be. And first on the list, the lucky number one is Doug with LG. So, Doug, why don't you start by telling us your name, company, what you do there, and all that?
Sure. Yeah, my name's Doug Bougher. I am the director of residential light commercial sales at LG. Basically, I run the commercial team that sells through distribution for LG's air conditioning products.
Cool. And how long you been there?
A little over a year. Started in March of last year and came before that from SPX Cooling Technologies, which sells Marley branded cooling towers on the applied side of the business, and I was there for 10 years or so.
Yeah, so that was actually my next question is sort of how did you get where you are? How'd you get into the industry? Sort of your little story.
Well, if I go backwards, so I was an engineer who got an MBA and then worked for a bunch of different manufacturing OEMs in multiple industries. And one of those was HVAC with Marley that I was at for 10 years. And I went there because they needed somebody with experience communicating the value of their products. And I had some marketing and product management experience with that. That moved into running their product management group. And then most of my time at Marley was actually running their HVAC sales team.
Cool.
And worked there in the sales role for about 8 years before some of the reps, and I've known multiple of the reps for a long time, suggested me for a job at LG. And then I was talking with Kevin McNamara, who is my current boss and runs that division at LG. And he convinced me to come over and try the sales team on the residential side, which has some great product and value, but we haven't done a good job communicating that value. And again, with my background in that and leading a sales team, thought it would be a good fit, and so did I.
Good. Yeah. So we're the rep for LG, obviously, and we can already see some of the stuff you got your fingerprints on. So thank you for that. What are a couple things that you like most about the industry?
Mostly people. I've worked in a few different industries, and the people in HVAC are just, beyond being just nice, good people. That they're hardworking, honest, and you can build something from that.
Right.
You don't have to worry about a relationship changing every 30 days or something like that.
Right.
And so I do like that a lot.
There's some characters too in the HVAC
Yeah,
industry.
right.
So some of the most unforgettable people I've ever met are in the HVAC industry. Cool. So, you've got a history in the industry, and you're a very forward-thinking person. Where do you see the industry going? Like, it's just, I always tell people that I look at our industry sort of as like where computer technology was 2 decades ago. Like, once you think you know something in our industry, it's changed. And all the big money is getting invested into energy efficiency and technology. So, I'm so excited. Where do you see it going in the next 5 years, 10 years, 30 years?
You're right. Energy is a big part of it. Energy efficiency is always going to be a big part of it. Of course, the purpose of it is comfort. Getting improved comfort is going to be a big deal. And the last is just control. With technology moving on, people don't only want efficiency, they want the ability to control their environment and make it, having their own specific comfort in every different room in the house, I think is going to continue to be important. Right. So it's the combination of all three, which again excites me about LG, because the products that we have align with all three. And right. One of the other reasons why I came to LG was because VRF and inverter technology in general in HVAC was growing so strongly, and I do feel very certain that it will gradually take over the market on the residential side, as just about anything that has some type of motor in it eventually becomes variable speed. And inverter technology is right up the alley with that, both with the compressor and with the fans. So it's long time due to change out what is a unitary industry into a more variable, highly efficient, controllable, and more comfortable system. And so that's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, I totally agree with the control portion, and being part of the LG team, I get to see that is one thing that LG, a lot of manufacturers have similar performance and all that sort of stuff, but sort of a shameless plug right now for LG, even though I'll be interviewing all sorts of different people, and I don't want this to be only RSC thermal pigeonholed thing, but LG and controls sort of go hand in hand. So question about, we got this coronavirus thing going on, COVID-19, whatever you want to call it. And this interview might last a year from now. So we'll remind people that this is March of 2020, where the entire country was pretty much shut down. So we're in a huge crisis. So it's sort of fitting that I wanted to ask, sort of outside of this crisis we're dealing with now, which is an obvious challenge that we have, that we all have, what do you see as some of the biggest challenges for the HVAC industry or LG specifically that you face sort of today and tomorrow and a year or two from now? What do you see as big challenges?
Well, for us, we have such great products that I really believe in, but people don't know about them. And so having a channel that includes manufacturing reps such as yourself, a distributor, then a contractor, and then an end user, and having all of them informed on what the value of not just LG, but just inverter technology itself before even getting into the specifics of our product versus some of our direct competitors, that's really tough to do. And that's what the whole industry has been doing for 20 plus years now, trying to move that. And we're only, frankly, 10% of the way there. Our market is about 10% of that of unitary right now. So that's been the biggest piece.
I'm always so blown away by that, when we all assume, because we're in this part of the market, that everyone knows what inverter heat pumps are. Just like it's every day for us. And I'm always blown away at that point you just said about, we're not even scratching the surface on how much there is out there and how much people need to be educated. So that's a perfect answer, because I see it all the time.
Yeah, even I replaced, and I've probably mentioned this to you, replaced my AC system about 3 years ago. The contractor didn't even mention it as a potential upgrade. And where I live, I'm in Kansas City. The houses are relatively large.
Chiefs fan, by the way. Chiefs fan.
Yeah, Chiefs fan. Sorry, all you New
We
England
have to bring
people.
it up.
I did live in New England, and I do like Brady, and I was there his rookie year, and went to school in New Hampshire. But
good enough.
But you're right. I'm a Chiefs fan, and so my point is that my house, my lead was perfect for pitching inverter, and it wasn't by any of the contractors in the Kansas City area that we had come over. And so that's the thing that confuses me now, that you have something that potentially could make a contractor more money, that was solution. In line with the future. And I'm not even saying push it, but at least talk about it. And so that's again aligns with that challenge that I was talking about with respect to the training, getting people feeling comfortable about it. Because if they don't feel comfortable and they see that there's risk associated with the install, they're not gonna push it. They're gonna just do the quick, easy change out versus really trying to take things to the next level.
Right. All right. So off the business part for a second, what do you like to do in your free time? Tell us a little bit about yourself and your family and what you like to do with when you're not working.
Well, I'll give you the COVID-19 version since it's a little different
Yeah, it's a little
than.
different nowadays.
But really, I have two kids in high school, and in my role, I travel a lot. So when I'm not traveling, I try to spend all my time with them. And whether that's doing a family board game or just playing cards or something, or going for a walk, or my kids like even old seasons of Survivor, and so we watch those as a family, and
Yeah.
have our own favorites. That type of stuff is what I'm doing right now. I see a future when my kids go off to college, where my wife and I do a lot more traveling and things like that would be
Right.
probably the choice. But as of right now, it's mostly, especially right now, it's mostly staying at home, spending time with the immediate core family, and just trying to have fun in this environment.
I think that's sort of at least for me too, the sort of the silver lining in this whole lockdown thing. I've been able to spend more time with my wife and 8-month old than I think ever.
Yeah.
We're still working, but I go downstairs to get a coffee and they're there and all that. So it's a good thing.
Yeah.
So you said you had two kids in high school.
Hmm.
My last question for you is, if you were to give them, if they were getting into our industry, or some random person that's about to enter, even if they're older and changing careers, what's one piece of advice you would give to someone joining the HVAC industry?
Well, when I think of HVAC, I talked about how you can build relationships over time, and so the reverse of that is true also, in that it's a small industry. People that stick around a long time, you're gonna, even if you change companies or go other places, your brand goes with you, and so treat people with respect and integrity. Provide value to them. Provide service to them. Be honest. Be consistent, and be nice, and you're going to be successful, because as long as you can perform along with those attributes, you're going to get a reputation of somebody who is good to work with, and you can take that with you in this industry a pretty long way, because people buy from people in this industry, and so you need to have good relationships. And there's something built over time, even if you leave one company and go somewhere else.
Right. That's another thing I'm always blown away by, is how big our industry is, dollars wise and people wise, but how small it is. So many times I'll meet someone from the other side of the country, another rep in a manufacturer, whatever, and they'll know someone it's a big, small industry. So you're right. You got to keep your own brand up. I totally agree with that. That's a good one.
Yeah, and the reason why I say it is because it's true. I
Yeah.
mean, even my role at LG came up because a channel partner at Marley was also a channel partner with LG, and so everybody knows everybody.
Perfect. All right. Well, that is it. Thank you so much for taking the time. This is the first one. It went well. You did a great job. Thank you for that. I knew you would. And
Well,
have a good day.
hopefully you didn't mind my dog snoring in the background. I don't
I
know
didn't
if you
even
can
hear it.
hear him or not.
I have a
Okay.
French bulldog, so I'm used to it.
All right.